So today we'll be discussing the manual testing interview question. In this process, we'll be discussing all the important interview questions which are asked as part of manual testing. So let's discuss. So the first question would be, what is software testing? So we can go from basic. So software testing is the process of evaluating and verifying that a software application or system meets the specified requirements and functions as intended. The goal is to identify any defects or issues so they can be resolved before the software is released to the user. What it means? So the general meaning of testing is to verify if everything is working correctly or not. Similarly, the software testing, we are verifying if the software application meets the specified requirement. What the suppose one product owner, they have given some requirements. So after developing that particular module, if all the all the specific functionality are working fine or not, we are going to validate it. So that we can identify any defect which should be found in the latter stage of the software, when the software get released. So when if we will be finding that defect, that won't be cost effective. So if we are finding the defect earlier, so that will be, we can fix the defect, and we can deliver a good quality product to the end user. That is the intention of software testing. So next we will be discussing why testing is necessary. It's a similar one, but still the why testing is necessary means ensure the software quality and reliability, defect and fix defects early, reducing cost, verify that the software meets user requirements and expectations, ensure security, performance, compatibility, improve user satisfaction and reduce the risk of software failure. Let's take the first point, ensure software quality and reliability. What is software quality? The quality software is the software which the end user, they can use it properly. So there won't be any issue, they won't find any issue when they are using the product. That is called software quality, and it should be reliable, it should be reliable to the end user. So defect and fix defects early. So main intention of testing is to find defect at the earliest stage, so that the defects can be fixed early, and so that the cost can be reduced. So verify the software meets the user requirements and expectation. So when the product owner, they are giving some requirement and expectation, suppose some Figma pages and all they have given, according to that the developer has designed the product. So as part of testing, so we are verifying if the actual requirement which is given, the expected requirement which is given by the product owner, meets the actual um, product. So that is the main intention. So ensure security, performance and compatibility. So we are ensuring if there is no vulnerability as part of the security testing, and performance, the software performs very well when we are thousands or lakhs of users are using the same software at a time. So how the software performs, that is called performance testing. And compatibility is the software testing, when we are verifying the software in different browsers or operating systems or different platforms we are verifying. So if it works properly, so that is called compatibility. Improve the user satisfaction and reduce the risk of software failure. When we are testing the product thoroughly, so we are ensuring that user is being satisfied by doing there are so many levels of testing. So there are user acceptance testing as well. So by this we are ensuring the user satisfaction and reduce the risk of software failure after the software getting released. When if we are finding any major defect, so that is a risk of software failure, so that we can avoid by using software testing. The next is explain the difference between manual testing and automation testing. The two words clearly define what is manual testing and what is automation testing. Manual means there is the human intervention. Suppose manual testing involves the human testers manually executing the test cases without the use of automation tools. There are so many automation tools nowadays, Selenium, Cypress, and all those. So, without using any such automation tool, when the human testers like me, so they are executing the test cases, so that is called manual testing. So this is useful for exploratory usability and ad hoc testing. These are few terms. Now it will be very complex for you, but when we'll discuss in the latter stage, it will be okay for you. So now you can remember manual testing is the testing which involves human testers, and automation testing is the testing which involves the tools and the scripts to be executed the test cases. So there won't be any manual intervention, or the for executing the test cases no human tester is needed. We can set up the tool and the tool will be executing all the test cases. So it is useful for regression testing, load testing, and repetitive tasks. So these two are the main difference between automation and manual testing. Now we'll be discussing what are the different types of testing. So these are few important testing terms. Those will be asked in the interview. So there's a first is unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, which I told before, user acceptance testing, functional testing, non-functional testing, regression testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, exploratory testing, ad hoc, performance, load, stress, usability, compatibility, configuration, and security testing. So these are different testing terminology. So for now, if I will explain these testing terms in the later chapters. For now, you can just remember these are few uh, testing types. So the next is what is a test case and how do you write one. So for this testing activities, uh, we need some test case. Suppose that there is one login functionality we need to validate. So for that we need one test case. So this is the tester, the manual tester. They are supposed to write the test case. With this test case, we are going to execute that particular test case, and we'll just collect the artifacts and report it to the corresponding team. So the test case, what it composed of? The steps to write a test case. When we are writing a test case, there will be one test case ID, test description, the brief description of the test case. So if the login functionality is there, so we can the description will be validate the login functionality, the precondition any setup required before executing the test. Suppose the precondition will be the environment will be ready, or yeah, so these are the preconditions, the test steps, the detailed steps to execute the test. So test step for the login functionality will be navigate to the URL, then enter username, enter password, click on the login button. These are the test steps. Test data, what will be the test data for login functionality? So the test data for the login functionality will be username and password, so and the URL. So these are the few test data. So expected result, what will be the expected result? So when I took example of this login functionality, so the expected outcomes will be login successful. So this is the expected outcome, the actual outcome. So as part of testing, so these are the few, suppose we will be creating test case in an Excel. So these are few columns against which we will be putting our data. So the actual result, uh, what we are validating as part of login functionality. Suppose we have entered the username and password, and incorrect username and password, and we are not getting into the welcome screen. So then the test case is failed, right? So there will be some issue in the test data, or like there is some issue in the click functionality, or there will be some functional issue. So accordingly the status will be there. If the expected result will be the actual result, the status will be passed, otherwise the status will be failed. So these are the uh, yeah, these are the resources by using which we can perform the testing. So important is the how to write a test case. With this only, this is a what you can say, um, yeah. So yeah, by using this test case we can perform the testing. So the next question is, what is a test plan? The test plan is before doing any testing activities, we need to plan the testing. So there will be so when there are vast projects, so the test plan, suppose the test planning should be proper. Otherwise if suddenly we are going to test and we don't have any plan, we have not created any test cases and all, that will create issue in because as we are following nowadays agile terminology. So in this we have the sprint, right? So previously we had ample amount of time by using which we used to create test cases and all. So but we have now a scheduled timeline by using which by that time we have to create, we have to finish our testing. The testing and development runs parallelly nowadays in agile methodology. So the test planning is must in agile methodology. So what is a test planning? Test planning is a document outlining the scope, approach, resources, schedule of testing activities. It includes test objectives, test criteria, deliverables, responsibilities, and risk assessment. So what a test planning, it's a document which will be the outlining of the scope of the testing, whether the system testing is needed, whether the integration testing is needed, on which whether the device testing is needed, and these are the scope of the testing we have to finalize before the testing starts. So and the approach, how we are going to approach the testing, and the resources, who will be the resources, suppose the in a testing team, so there are a few manual testers required and few automation testers required. So these are the resources and schedule of testing activities. This is the important part of this testing activities. So we have to schedule the testing activities. We have to finalize timeline the testing activities, so that it includes test objectives, test criteria, deliverables, responsibilities, and risk assessment. So these are coming under test planning. So what is the difference between a test plan and a test strategy? Now these are few important testing terminology. So nothing to worry, once you go ahead and learn few basic concepts, then you will be clear on this. From the day one, no one can understand all these things. Okay. So the test plan is a detailed document that outlines how the testing will be conducted, including specific tasks, timelines, and resources. Testing strategy is a high level document that defines the overall approach and goal of testing, aligning with business objectives and quality standards. it's a test plan. Just remember one thing, test plan is a detailed document of the testing activities. Test strategy is a high level document that defines the overall approach and goal of the testing. What are the different levels of testing? So now we have discussed like what is a testing, why testing is necessary, different types of testing and all. So now we'll be discussing the levels of testing. So these are the first level is unit testing. Testing gives you individual components and modules. This unit testing basically performs uh, the developer perform this unit testing. Integration testing, testing interactions between integrated modules. So there are different modules in a application, right? So the integration testing tests if the interaction between the integrated modules works properly or not. So system testing, testing the complete integrated system. The system testing, it's the end-to-end testing. So it is the integrated complete testing of the software. So that is called system testing. Acceptance testing, testing done by end user to validate the system meets their requirement. Suppose the end user, the product owner has given few requirements. So they will be performing, their team will be performing the user acceptance testing uh, to validate if the system meets their requirement. So that is called acceptance testing or user acceptance testing. So explain the difference between functional and non-functional testing. So now we'll be discussing what is functional and what is non-functional testing. The functional testing verifies the software performs its intended functions correctly. Suppose let's take an example of the click functionality or the browser navigation functionality. So these are the functional testing. So these are most as part of and web application testing. So verifies the software performs its intended functions properly and correctly. The non-functional testing evaluates the non-functional aspects such as performance, usability, reliability, and security. These are the non-functional aspects. So these are not coming under functional. So suppose the performance testing, what how the system behaves, how the software behaves when there are multiple users working on the same system at the same time, when there are thousands or lakhs of users working on the same system, how it takes their load, how it takes their data, how yeah, the all the things can be performed by the system performance testing. Similarly, usability testing and reliability testing and security testing. If there is no vulnerability, so if the data is passed correctly or not, the encryption happened correctly or not, so these are coming under non-functional testing. Yes. So now we'll be ending this. These are the few important 10 interview questions which is asked in the interview. So maybe it's a quick recap. What is software testing and why testing is necessary? Explain between manual testing and automation testing. What are the different type of testing? What is the test case? How the test case is being written? What is expected result? What is actual result? What is the test status? What is a test plan? What is the difference between test plan and test strategy? What are the different levels of testing? What is explain what is functional and non-functional testing? So these are few basic manual testing interview questions. So the next day we'll be discussing next set of manual testing interview questions in the similar way. In 10 days we'll be finishing the most important manual testing interview questions which is being asked frequently in the interviews. So let's connect in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Thanks for watching and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.